You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. We've seen a lot lately about reprogramming your unconscious mind. Doing so can have some amazing benefits, but there are some missing pieces. Today, we're going to talk about the benefits of doing this, but also what parts that everyone leaves out. These parts are the ones that could mean the difference between overcoming your past and having a wonderful life and failing and not really making change. Everyone needs this information. Why is working with the subconscious mind so amazing, Jason?
You know, there's so many actions that a person does without thinking and reflects programs located in your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we see it every day. When people come to us. We've been doing this work with clients for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, we've seen so much. But what people struggle with is seeing the world the way others see them.
Yeah.
They can see what they see, but they can't perceive themselves in a way that is objective in any sort of way.
Right.
You know, and that includes facial expressions, body language, vocal tone. The other day I was calling Apple support because we're Mac people, and I needed some support. And in the recording, they said,
as you're waiting for them to pick up.
And I'm trying to remember the exact words, but it's basically, don't yell at our customer service people. It was nicer than that, but please respect our customer or something like that.
Okay.
And so I just thought it was funny because I was talking to a client the other day, and she was saying, this woman she was talking to on the phone said, "Don't yell at me." And she said, "I'm not yelling. If I was yelling, blah, blah, blah.
If I was yelling, you would know it." Yes, there you go.
But the point is that most people are unaware of
big time
their presentation, and especially when it comes to facial expressions,
right,
body language,
yes,
and vocal tone.
Well, and Jason's told me at least, I'm of course exaggerating 1,000 times, you would not be a very good poker player, Patricia.
Here's my favorite, and especially when I'm talking to my wife here, how you doing today? I'm fine. There's a difference between, I can ask the same question, how you doing today? And I get the same answer, but totally different meanings. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so many different ways of saying I'm fine that are completely different.
Yes, exactly.
And those come from your subconscious mind.
That is correct. Okay, so sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Anyway, the reason it's essential to work with the unconscious mind is what, Jason?
Well, and we said this in the beginning, and I'm not sure, it's true that there's missing pieces that everybody leaves out. But the truth is, I don't see that anybody sees these pieces.
If they're seeing them, they're not talking about them.
Well, and I would think if they really saw them, they would be talking about it. But
that's what I think.
Here's the reason it's essential to work with the unconscious mind. Let me give you some background, okay? And this came from Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he wrote a very interesting book, The Biology of Belief. And but he talks about how the mind has the ability, the unconscious mind, your subconscious mind has the ability to process 20 million bits of information per second. 20 million. But contrast that with the conscious mind that can only process 40 bits per second. 20 million, 40 bits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's a huge difference there.
Yes, there is.
So when you go to a self-help or look for, self-improvement or whatever, and they say, well, you should think this way.
Right.
You can say that, you can think that, you can try and hold that in your mind, but your 40 bits are against your 20 million bits that have already been programmed in you.
And the first thing that happens when somebody says, oh, you should do things this way, or you should, that way, that kind of thing. The first thing that goes through my mind is, and how exactly am I going to do that if you don't know me? That's a big deal, because his way of doing things or somebody else's way of doing things might not work for me.
And that's because it's controlled by the subconscious mind.
There you go.
And that's 200 million bits of information.
Yes. Woof.
So
20 million bits.
Yeah, 20 million bits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So most people in the majority of self-help programs try to change how you think, which consciously, which isn't going to work.
Right.
They use force, manipulation, mental tricks, cheerleading, persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
What most self-help programs don't understand is that negative energy programs are stuck in the unconscious and have a major subtle energy component that no one touches. In other words, if you were told all your life that you're not going to amount to anything, or told that you're not attractive, or you're not good with sports, or you're not good with math, or
all
those things,
and there's many more. Go ahead.
Those sink in.
Yes.
And they sink in when you're a young person with no ability to filter that and say, oh, that's right, or that's not right, that sort of thing. And so that's what gets stored. And it's really hard to change those things.
Yes. And, okay. There's another part here. All of us have been told that we need to be positive, do that positive thinking, do that. And this is important.
Have a positive attitude.
What is it? Gratitude.
Create the
attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
There you go. And the reason that I'm bringing it up is because that's everywhere out there. The one I like is in the grocery store, where the person says, "Oh man, that person, they're not very grateful, and their attitude is not very good." Things like that. Well, you have no idea what that person's been through. And I have been through a lot of things in my life. You all have heard me talk about a few of those things. There's a whole lot more. The point that I'm getting at is that I tried I read this, I believe it was a book, and I apologize for not remembering who wrote it, but it was talking about just do affirmations every day, just that sort of thing, and everything will change in your life. Well, I had this job that I absolutely hated, and this was before I met Jason. So on my breaks and my lunch break, I would do affirmations. I am this, I am that, I am good, I am happy, I am all of these things. And I have to tell you, it didn't work. Well, at all.
Well, and here's the problem with affirmations.
Okay.
They don't change the energy.
Yeah.
So, one of the major discoveries of the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
What we learned refining our intuition all during these 25 years is that negative programs in your subconscious, we could see it.
Yes, we could.
Aren't being changed by some sort of technique.
Correct.
You have to change the energy.
Yes.
It's an energy process. It's not a mechanical think this way and don't think this way.
Well, and we're going to talk about this all the way through the show. But one of the things that the ecosystem approach does is it does change the energy. And so we, even in our minds and even our subconscious mind, have then the ability to change our perspective on how we see things, starting with ourselves. And then we can use the ecosystem approach to change even more. And I'm talking about remove the negative energy, and that positive will come forward.
Yes.
It is one of the most awesome things. I truly didn't believe it. And so I said, okay, Jason, and this was in the beginning. We know so much more and have added so much more to the ecosystem approach. But I have to say, Jason didn't have time. He was having a nephew that was going to be born. And so he didn't have time to actually work with me personally. And he said, I'll work on you this weekend. I said, great. For the first time that Monday morning that came around, he worked on me on Sunday. I was able to get out of bed and without pain. I'd been in a really bad car accident. And but I got out of bed without pain. I got out of bed with this attitude of, whoa, things, I felt lighter, things feel better.
Because I changed the energy.
Because you changed the energy.
It's so much different.
It was so amazing to me.
Well, and here's the most important thing.
Okay.
We learn this using the ecosystem approach because the natural effect
Yes.
of doing what we do with the ecosystem approach is the development of refined intuition. And we've been talking about that in our show for a while. But,
yes, we have. And it's huge.
It's a natural, everybody's intuition is supposed to improve. And when you start removing negative energy, whether you're naturally intuitive or not, it starts to go crazy.
Correct. And I'm just going to give an example. When you don't remove the negative energy, you start seeing life through a veiled perspective
that distorts
because you can't see the whole thing. You can't have the clarity. So with that said, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Reprogramming your unconscious mind can have amazing benefits by overcoming lifelong patterns, difficulties, and challenges. But information that is currently presented misses key points that prevents any meaningful or deep change. Most people are completely unaware of many of their unconscious behaviors, and current advice assumes you know what that is and then can clear it. The advice also assumes that the depth and the breadth of these lifelong patterns is shallow and superficial. They're not. We know they are not. So we created the ecosystem approach as a holistic way to overcome these lifelong patterns and challenges.
In the next segment, Jason and I are going to talk about why reprogramming your unconscious mind is so much harder than what is portrayed in the books and on social media, and how they are missing key points. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about why reprogramming your unconscious mind is so much harder than what is portrayed in books and on social media, and how they are missing key points. We've seen so many shows and even books about reprogramming your subconscious mind. They are quick fixes that miss essential points, because we see and have perceived subtle energies. We, because of our 25 years of experience working with the energy of our clients, we know these methods cannot work or last or be sustainable
in any way. Yes. And the truth is we've seen this so many times that people come to us and say, well, I tried that.
Right.
And it didn't work. Or I went to a hypnotherapist for a couple sessions and it didn't really work. And the reason is because they don't have the time. It's not part of the way they do things.
Right.
If you're smoking, there's a deep psychological reason that nicotine is attracted to when you smoke, and
that is correct.
Otherwise, you would just stop anyways.
Because it covers up so much, and I'm going to say covers up so much emotional pain of your life.
Yes, and doing things that are difficult often have that psychological basis. Even for example, something as benign as being able to say no.
Oh, that's a big one.
Or being able to be, advocate for yourself.
Yes, exactly. Well, and weight loss is well, there's a few big ones: smoking, weight loss, drinking, drugs, and then being able to say no, absolutely. But the bottom line is that we don't realize that when we can't say no, that there's a deep-seated reason why.
Well, and okay.
Or say no to a drink, say no to a drug, say no to cigarettes, food.
Here's what we saw with our intuition, which is a major breakthrough. That there's a consciousness of negative or dark energy. It's not just there. It's not just negative. It's not just something doesn't have thoughts. This negative energy that's attached to has not only a consciousness but motives.
Yes.
And it wants to exist. That's one of the primary things. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
This negative energy wants to exist and continue to exist.
Yes.
And it also
and I'm going to jump in and say that when we buy into that, I'm sorry, buy into it wasn't what I meant. When we give in to those unconscious motives, we're actually feeding that negative energy.
Yes. Oh, that's a biggie.
It's huge.
That negative energy grows and develops from that.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, and then it grabs a hold even more.
If you've ever heard about people talking about cancer, how certain foods like sugar feeds cancer, it feeds the growth of cancer. It's the same principle.
That is correct.
Dark energy wants to be fed, and it lives off the negative energy that it creates.
Yes.
So we saw this with my mom. If you remember correctly, she recently passed, but she had dementia, and she lived with us for 10 years.
11, actually.
Yeah, and she had dementia. She was functionally deaf, and we saw the negative energy. And when we saw it come over her,
and we could literally see it come over her.
It would transform her body language, her tone of voice.
Yeah, exactly.
You could see it in the way she held herself.
And her jaw and her mouth would be a big telltale.
Yes. And she was completely unaware of it. Mm-hmm. And even when we would talk to her, when the negative energy was present, we would talk to her, and it was like we were talking through it.
Yeah.
Like she couldn't see it, but we could see it.
Yeah.
And it didn't, in other words, we've had lots of experience up close and personal. And that thing with my mom, watching my mom to the very end, gave us so much information about how negative and dark energy works.
It really did. In fact, in so many ways, she gave us an understanding of how it works and even what to look for, but also how it affected us.
Yes.
And, you think, oh, it's only one-sided, no big deal, let it go on. Well, unfortunately, we're way too intuitive for us to let that kind of energy exist.
We couldn't ignore it.
No,
it was hard.
At all.
But here's the other part.
Okay.
It's important to see the specific motives of this dark energy that's connected to you.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, it has a motive. Why?
What
for
is
you
the motive?
personally?
Yes.
It's not why in general, which is it wants to exist, but why for you personally? What is it trying to gain?
Yes.
And that's where most people just shut down. They can't go there. There's a fear of actually seeing that for what it is.
Right.
And it's huge. And
go ahead. I have a story.
I mean, if you can see that, it makes all the difference, because when you understand the motive, that's when you go to that dark energy, knowing the motive and saying that motive has no longer has power in my subconscious mind.
Exactly. And over me. And my actions. I have a really good example about this.
Sure.
And by the way, my mother had, I'm going to call it the gift. She did have intuition, and she could see things, but I don't remember ever a time in my life that my intuition wasn't there. I could see those were some of my first memories. Let me just say it that way. But I was always told by her that, and she saw that I could see. She would say, You can't tell anyone about this. You are not allowed to use this. And if you do, people are going to really judge you and think you're crazy. So don't do it. And I don't know if the story about the little boy is on our website, but it's a really good example of the whole thing. Anyway, the point that I'm getting
You've
at.
used that story before. Keep listening if you want. You want to hear that story sometime.
Yes,
and if you want to put a note in the little.
Yes, well, I'll tell the story of the little boy, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about. The point that I'm getting at is it wasn't until I started, until I met Jason, and we started developing even more the ecosystem approach, that I actually saw my mother's motives that Jason was just talking about, negative energy, dark motives. My mother saw that my intuition was, and it's not a brag, leaps and bounds beyond hers. And she was jealous. And she always turned it around and always made it my fault that I was doing something wrong. I was not following the rules. I wasn't being who she wanted me to be. And it wasn't until, and by the way, she was long gone before I discovered this, but it was so amazing to me that she would do this to a child, that she would stop my creativity and my intuition as best she possibly could.
This is why most people miss that. It's
I know.
because what she said to you was a half-truth, that people will judge you.
Sure they will.
They will, you've got to be really careful when you put that information out.
Right.
All of that was true, but her motive
was
not positive.
No,
and that's the part that most people miss.
Right.
And that's the reason most people struggle with these issues for their life.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the motive, and they can't see the motive. They don't want to see the motive. And oh my gosh, I've got to be really honest, it's painful to see that your mother had the motive of jealousy with you. Is really painful, because you wanted your mother to love you.
And it didn't matter what I did, she didn't. But the point, that's not really the point. The point of this entire thing that I'm talking about is that negative energies, jealousy is a perfect example of how that dark energy, whenever you use those energies, or even try and fight with those energies, or try and explain to those energies what's going on, you're feeding those energies. And through the ecosystem approach, those things stop.
So people always ask us, how do we know about this dark energy?
Okay.
How do we know? Why? How come no one else has seen this?
Right.
And the truth is, I don't know. We know. We didn't develop the ecosystem approach with a teacher, quote unquote.
No mountaintops here.
We developed it almost organically.
We did.
We got some hints over here and hints over here and that sort of thing.
But we used, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in and say, we used our intuition.
Exactly.
To gain the information that we needed to gain the clarity that we have even today.
And so what that means is that what we know comes from the refinement of our intuition.
That's right.
Because we can see.
Right.
And we want you to validate that, not by putting us up on a pedestal or making us the guru, but to learn it yourself.
Because those who have it, and we've met a few, they're awesome people to be around. The exchange of positive energy is amazing.
So if you want more information, do this right now. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section. You'll get the newsletter. Will show you how to clear. It does a little blurb about the show every week.
Sure.
And we don't sell your email address. No. We don't spam you. We don't do any of that.
Right.
And by the way, I did tell the Apple service advisor that I wouldn't yell at her. She laughed. She laughed. So anyways.
Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Reprogramming the subconscious mind is so much more difficult than portrayed in common programs today. The reason is negative energy that is attached to the unconscious mind that contains bad programming for your life and has a motive and a consciousness. No one's saying that. It's not that it's not just a thing to be removed. It has a consciousness that can move and adapt to what you do. It doesn't want to leave. It has a sinister intent. That's a biggie.
Right.
We know this because we can perceive this energy, and we've seen it adapt to our clearing and our attempts to remove it from my mom and other people, many people
ourselves.
over the years.
But I just want to add one more thing. When you don't remove the negative energy, you keep feeding this negative energy, and it's making not only yourself worse, or not any better than like you might want to be, but it's also making the world a little difficult to live in. So in the next segment, we're going to talk about why your personal evolution and the development of your consciousness using the ecosystem approach is the best way to overcome the negative tapes, memories, and programs from your unconscious mind. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about why your personal evolution and the development of your consciousness using the ecosystem approach is the best way to overcome the negative tapes, memories, programs, trainings from your unconscious mind. Developing your consciousness using the ecosystem approach is the most powerful way to unlock and access your unlimited potential.
That's huge. And most people don't see that because most people don't see energy. They don't see how the energy that's attached to you blocks your potential. They don't see it. And it's, to us, being intuitive and seeing energy, it's clear.
Yes.
It's no different than it's obvious in a way.
Yes. Well, it's obvious to us. The problem is that when people don't understand energy, they go,
it's not obvious.
What? It's not.
And programming doesn't make you more aware of your surroundings. It narrows your surroundings and reduces it.
Well, and the example about my mother, it really narrowed things, and I tried my best. I wait a minute. My hand to God and the entire audience right here. I did my very, very, very best to fit into the programming. Didn't work.
She could never figure out why she never got the result that she wanted from her family, but she didn't see the negative energy and the motive.
I didn't understand it. I could see the negative energy, but I didn't realize that I could actually do something about it.
And frankly, even with that knowledge, it's been a struggle to get rid of it because
the programming.
Because of that huge unconscious mind.
That's right.
With the 200 million bits per second. That's
20. It's 20.
I thought it was 200.
No, it's 20.
Oh. So,
see?
Well, anyway.
20 million.
Yeah.
Up there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, 20 million. Okay. So I just exaggerated, but still 20 million is still a lot more than 40. So
it could be 200 as far as I'm concerned. The bottom line is that that what he's trying to say is that by using the ecosystem approach, you can not only begin to see things about yourself, but you can see things about your life and your surroundings. And you can, by changing the energy, make your life better. It's pretty amazing.
Here's the other thing. Mm-hmm. It's this energy that we're talking about is the best way to remove the blocks to your perception of yourself.
Yeah, it's huge.
So many people have no real awareness of who they are and what their purpose is.
Right.
That should be, if we didn't have this negative energy attached to us, we would grow up just knowing what our purpose is. Everybody would know it.
Yes.
It would be innate, and we would do everything we could to try and implement that in the world, in our life.
Correct.
But there's so much negative energy that blocks us and keeps us from any sort of knowledge of what that is and who we are.
Well, programming techniques doesn't help with self-insight.
Yes, it doesn't.
Yes. It directs you outside of yourself to be of the conventional wisdom, which for me, it didn't apply.
And I see this, that dark energy has been able to exist because it's virtually invisible to a critical mass of people who would rather not see it or confront it.
Correct.
I see that in the traditional medicine
Yes.
arena. That's a huge area.
Yeah.
Doctors don't want to hear about your feelings or your emotions or your energy. They just want to know what the lab results say.
Yes.
Because that's the way they're trained.
Well,
nothing
that's
wrong
science.
with this. Doesn't make them bad people, but that's the way they're trained.
Yes. Yes.
The greatest power, this is huge. The greatest power that the dark has is the ability to keep us unconscious and distracted from its motives and the tactics in our life.
Correct.
So many times I'm working with someone, they want to move forward in their life. They want to evolve.
And and you can, just by the energy they're carrying when they come into the conversation, you can feel it.
A lot of our clients that we work with now, we're not taking new clients, but they're long-term clients. They're really dedicated to their own evolution.
They really are.
The problem is that we can get into a session and they'll want to distract us with something over here, something over here.
Yes.
We want to go right to that negative energy, and there's a natural resistance to it.
Yes.
So
it's here's something I really like.
Mm-hmm.
The ecosystem approach teaches you and us to think differently, not like a machine that needs to be programmed or added oil to, but as an ecosystem that needs balance in a way that is and can be sustainable.
Sustainability comes from uncovering who you are authentically. And then when you know who you are authentically, there's a delicious feeling, and all of a sudden you want to express that in the world. You have to express that in the world.
Yes.
And I realize most jobs, it's not about self-expression.
Oh,
it's about doing the work, and so
one of the reasons I love my job.
Yes, but you can still be authentic.
Yes,
doing someone else's agenda. When you go to work. You can still be genuine. You can still be authentic in your relationships, within reason. Don't be authentic with that person who's obviously a political person trying to move up the ladder. It's a game to them, and they're going to try and use that. But authentic with the people that it will land well with.
Well, and I just discovered something today, and I'm just going to throw it out there that competition is always about jealousy.
Yeah.
I never saw it that way until today.
Yeah.
And it is not in our best interest because it leaves so many things either unturned on the table, or basically it says your table doesn't matter at all.
There's this expression, a little bit of competition is good.
Never hurt anyone.
Yeah, never hurt it. Yeah. That's not necessarily true, because it opens up access to it, all sorts of negative energies.
That is correct. That is correct.
So removing subconscious blocks is the key to accessing unlimited potential that you already possess. It's not like I'm going to give it to you, or you're going to come and do my program and then I'm going to give you bits of unlimited potential.
Right.
You already have it.
But it's blocked.
It's blocked. And all you have to do is remove that negative energy. This process of removing negative energy doesn't cost you anything. We teach you how to do it in this show. We teach you how to do it. And I realize, because we've been so programmed, you need support, and that's why we've done this channel.
Yes.
And I think this show is our 345th show that we've produced. And to do this on a day-to-day basis, you do need support, and we're developing some classes in the background.
We are.
But if you're interested if you're excited about this, if this says, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this all my life, go to our website right now and sign up for our free section, theecosystemapproach.org, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Ecosystem Approach, Jason and Patricia Rohn.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead, Jason.
So should we do the summary?
Do the summary? All right. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Your Consciousness and personal evolution is the key to overcoming subconscious programming that has disrupted your life and created so much difficulty. This is not a quick fix, but a long-term solution to difficult problems that you've had all your life. It starts with self-knowledge and seeing yourself clearly and objectively, and then seeing the dark programs and their motives in your life personally. When you begin to see these negative programs replay over and over in your life, you can see your intuition to look for the root and go there and remove the power that these negative energies have. It's time to expose the toxic motives of the dark energy here on Earth today.
Yes.
We created the ecosystem approach so you can truly have mastery over your own life.
Correct. And I love that part. Now, should we take time to teach people how to do the clearing?
No, we can do that in the next segment.
We'll do that in the next segment. Well, with that said, in the next segment, we're going to talk about how to work with the energy of your life and some examples of removing toxic energies. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to show you some specific ways to work with energy and how we do it. But Jason, we neglected to mention something from the last segment. So if you would complete that, that would be great.
I think this is really critical.
Okay.
And when you understand the playbook of negative energy, so when you have these unconscious patterns, if you understand that negative energy has a consciousness and motives.
Correct.
Pretty soon you get to see the playbook over and over and over again. It's not like it's really that smart. I keep saying that to people. They don't really understand. It's you can see the playbook. If you have any sort of objectivity, clear away the veils and illusions, you see the playbook, you see how it works, you see how people act or how this energy acts in your life.
Yes.
You say, oh, I know what's going to happen. Or if you don't know what's going to happen, you can say it's one of these three things or one of these four things.
Correct.
And then as it adapts, you adapt and get even stronger. And then that's how you take it out eventually.
Well, exactly. And the other thing is that using the ecosystem approach really enables you to have the confidence to stand up to this negative energy. And it's pretty awesome. And but the big and
that's a biggie too, because
it is.
Most people don't have the confidence.
No.
There's that negative energy inside of them.
Trained not to have it.
You're terrified of it.
It's exactly right.
It's a natural response to confronting that negative energy.
Yes, it is. So, and by the way, using the ecosystem approach is the way. And I am so looking forward to hearing about what kind of classes people would like for us to do and that sort of thing. And I have to tell you, I think it would just be awesome. So
that's the next step. And
all right,
and feel free to leave a comment or go to our website. You can always go to our Facebook page or comment on our YouTube channel, The Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn.
Yes. Okay. So Jason, one of the most important aspects of using the ecosystem approach is working with the subtle energy of our personal ecosystem.
We're going to tell you how to do it right now.
All right.
It's very, very simple. Okay. Your posture is not important. You can stand, sit, lay down. You can be on your head. You can be, you can actually be exercising. You can be running, walking.
Right.
You know,
you can do it while you're driving, but don't close your eyes.
Yep. And we do it while driving all the time. It's a great shower activity.
True.
You know, it's a great thing to do while you're doing mindless things like getting dressed in the morning.
Well, I do it
breakfast
exactly, and I do it when I'm doing dishes or things like that, because it's an easy thing.
Just a quick tip: if you're cooking or making a smoothie in the morning, just clearing is really good because in essence, you can also do a clearing statement for your food. You can be removing the negative energy from your food and yourself at the same time. It's very, very effective.
Well, and I'm going to say, I've heard this comment more than once. you gave me this recipe. Mine didn't turn out this way, the way this tastes. Why is yours different than mine? Did you forget to do something? And the answer is no. I just I removed negative energy from the food and put in life force energy. So when we eat this food, it's revitalizing, it's refreshing.
A lot of people say that about our clearing versus that when they do it
Their
themselves.
clearing, that's
And the
correct.
reason is, and this is important to understand, is that the more you do this, the more negative energy you remove,
Yes.
the more evolved you become, the more refined your intuition becomes,
And the better you see.
and the better you see, so you can be very, very specific
Yes.
about what to clear in the moment.
Exactly. So, Jason, one more time, start with how to clear.
Okay, so when we say to eliminate, we have this clearing statement. When we get to eliminate, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, gather up all those feelings, whether it's veils and illusions, barriers, specific emotions, fear, anger, whatever.
Correct.
Gather those all up, blow them into the processor. Nat's going to put the picture of the processor up right now.
Thank you, Nat.
And that process is really important to understand, because that takes, you can't really, energy isn't created or destroyed.
Correct.
It's always there, but it can be attached. You have be attached to negative energy or positive energy.
Right.
And so what the processor does, it clears it of the negative energy, so it comes out neutral.
Correct.
And if you see a picture, it goes in the top, it gets processed. Patricia drew this from her ability to see. We created this processor on the other side, and it looks like a trash can on wheels. It's kind of that way, but it gets processed, comes out the front.
Correct.
You can make the opening bigger in the top to
Right.
get it.
If something is really emotionally charged for you, make
Or
it
it's
bigger.
a big amount, or
yeah, and throw it in there. And when you throw something in there, it doesn't come back out. I want to make sure everybody understands that.
Working with energy is always a visual process. It
Yes.
has to do with metaphors.
And in your mind's
You're
eye.
creating these metaphors. So when you're clearing something, you see a picture that's meaningful to you. It doesn't really
That's
make
correct.
it real. It just makes it, it's a metaphor.
Yes.
And sometimes people say, well, we've heard this before, I keep missing the processor.
I've heard that, yeah.
You know, that's a metaphor. They're saying there's something in the negative energy that doesn't want them to get rid of this.
Exactly.
You know,
but the bottom line is that this is where you clear to have clarity, courage, and confidence, and you will find some of the things that you never thought possible. It's amazing.
So you want to talk about how to activate
life
force?
We're going to activate life force after we do some clearings. And in that activating life force is the most powerful energy we have access to here on Earth, which is, pretty amazing in itself. And then using planetary energies along with it, it's like, wow. But the bottom line is you're going to pull that life force energy in through the top of your head, and you're going to let it go all the way through your body to the tips of your toes. You're going to ask it to stop. You're going to ask it to turn around, and you're going to ask it to come back up your body and blow it out into the processor. Nate, of course, has a picture up right now.
And you don't have to remember all of that.
No, you don't.
You just kind of let it happen, and we'll guide you right now. We're going to give you some examples.
And your intentions matter here.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So, Jason, take it away. Here we go.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate any illusions I have that says reprogramming my unconscious mind is quick and easy. Unfortunately, it's not. Take a breath. Take those illusions.
And throw them away. And by the way, I see negative energy.
Put them in the processor.
Exactly. Put them in the processor. I see that negative energy moves easier to the left than it does to the right. I honestly don't know why. One of these days I'll find out and let y'all know. So, all right. Next one is this. And to eliminate any illusions that I have that says my addictions or difficult issues can be overcome easily, when in truth, they are deep-seated and connected in multiple places within my subconscious. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow out those illusions. Jason?
and to eliminate the barriers so I can see that reprogramming my unconscious is extremely powerful and I can literally transform my life if I can perceive and overcome the dark energy that is keeping my negative tapes or programs in place.
Exactly. So right now, everybody, from the tips of your toes, remove the barriers that are keeping you from and keeping negative energy stuck in your unconscious mind. Take a breath. Blow it out. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that negative energy has a consciousness and motives that try to keep these bad programmings running in your unconscious mind. They don't serve you at all. Take a breath and blow it out. And there is one thing that you can do. You can also do this and throw away those blocks and throw away those negative blocks. Nice and easy. Jason?
And to eliminate the barriers to my determination to evolve my consciousness so I can see I have the ability to remove the bad programming in my unconscious mind.
Take a breath and throw that negative energy away. We're going to activate some life force right now. It goes like this. Follow along. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force and any planetary energies that I need right now so I can have hope to overcome any and all negative programming in my unconscious mind and be authentic and happy and empowered in my life, in all of my life, starting right now. Pull that in. Let it go to the tips of your toes. Stop it right there. Ask it to turn around and come back up, collecting more negative energy, and throw away all that negative energy. You don't need it. Jason?
If you're thinking that it's time for me to reprogram my unconscious mind, that I have all these issues that I want to get rid of,
sure,
and this is the way to do it, and you're excited, do this right now. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, sign up for our free section.
I love it.
Now, not only will you get the weekly newsletter, we won't spam you or sell your email address.
No.
But you'll get access to a lot of content. Also, another way of doing that is subscribe to our YouTube channel. You have all the content that's there. Patricia's just started doing Coffee with Patricia because people would say to her all the time, I wish I could talk to you every day.
Yes.
She's got that mom energy, and people say, I want to talk to you every day, and just give me something to clear so I have a better day.
Yeah.
And we created Coffee with Patricia, and we have Coffee with Patricia on our YouTube channel.
Yes,
so go there and go work with it. So
and join us. Continue to join us. We'll be here next Monday, 1 p.m. Pacific time and 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Living like an ecosystem is the key to a better life for you personally.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.